sorry, we're going to go right around this way. You can find them this way. Look at that, So sudden loud noises do kind of frighten him for, like, you'll see he'll jolt if he hears something very loud. And yeah, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about him. If you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask.
Carrots.
Yes, we're eating carrots today. Not our favorite food, but yes, it seems to be working and he's eating it, so that's good.
I'm not sure if you like carrots too much today, right? Squash.
Yes, his favorite thing in the whole world is squash, but we don't have any today with the holiday and everything. Okay, so. Okay. My name is Nicole. This is Kim. I know you guys are here to meet Wally. You're not here to meet us. But we'll talk to you a little bit about him, give you a little bit of information about him, and about Sloths, about Wally, about why he's here, and everything like that. If you guys can just do me a favor, go take a seat, okay? So Wally is a two-toed sloth. We actually just, his DNA results, he is a Linnaeus two-toed sloth. So that's his specific species that he is. So there's two different types of sloths in the world. There's two-toed sloths and three-toed sloths. Two-toed sloths have two toes on the front, but they actually also do have three toes on their back feet as well. Three-toed sloths, the difference is that they have three in the front and three in the back. So the only really difference between the two is that the two-toed sloths have that one less toe in the front. Also, three-toed sloths have that fun like raccoon stripe across their eye, looks like eyeshadow. So that's another like physical difference between them. Okay, so sloths are a type of mammal, just like we are. They have hair all over their bodies. They give birth to live babies like we do. They have lungs. They have a 14-bird heart. All that good stuff. Now, a lot of people ask us if sloths are related to monkeys because they kind of have that funny monkey face. And they hang out in trees, no pun intended. They literally hang out in trees. But they're actually more related to like anteaters and armadillos than they are monkeys or anything like that. And they also are completely designed to be upside down as well. So he will not choke on his food when he eats upside down because that's the way his body is designed. All of his organs, everything internally is upside down as well. He actually has, they have locking mechanisms in their wrists. So that way when they're hanging upside down in the trees, they won't fall out of the trees. They stay locked in. Hey guys, can you please sit down for me? Sorry, buddy. So as I say seated, I'll be seated, okay? Also, even their hair is also parted down their stomach as opposed to the top of their head, like ours. So they live in the rainforest. It rains a lot, so the rain doesn't kind of pool on their bellies. It'll roll right off of them because their hair is parted a different way. One thing I forgot to mention: sloths can be found in the rainforest. Oh, I love when he stretches like that. So. They can be found in the rainforest of South America. Wally specifically can be found down there. They like very humid, damp, moist rainforest weather. They love that humidity. I, on the other hand, am not the hugest fan of humidity.
Hot days in the summer, they love them.
Oh yeah, and especially, I mean, he's so surprising to me, especially with how much hair he has on his body. That's the kind of weather he likes. But they don't have a lot of fat on their body, so that really kind of has something to do with it as well. Now I bet many of you are wondering why Wally is here with us. We are an aquarium, yes, but we're fish people. So having a mammal, a different kind of mammal, is pretty exciting for us. You might have noticed that we do have small monkeys over in our little rainforest area over there. Wally actually came here to be with us so that he can be what we like to call an ambassador for his species. So pretty much what that means is he's here to kind of represent not just him in captivity, but his wild cousins as well. And he's here to get you guys inspired to not only care about ocean environments with the rainforest as well. Thankfully, sloths are not an endangered species just yet, but the rainforests that they live in are being knocked out at such an alarming rate that it doesn't look too great for them in the near future. Also, sloths, as you can tell, I'm sure many of you know, are very slow. They don't use a lot of their energy. They spend up to 18 hours a day sleeping. And they spend a lot of their time in the same tree pretty much their whole lives. So when the loggers come in the rainforest to knock the trees down, they'll most likely be knocking down trees with sloths in them and not even realizing. So Wally is here as almost like an education, an addition to our rainforest conservation outreach program, education program. He usually, so carrots aren't his favorite food. His favorite thing to eat is zucchini. You most likely would not find zucchini hanging from the rainforest in Venezuela. But he really likes it, and as long as whatever makes him happy, we're okay with it. It's packed with vitamins and nutrients, so we're not complaining. Now you might also see that Kim here has almost like a magic wand. It's like, that's what I like to call it. One of the biggest misconceptions, specifically about Wally, is people ask us, oh, can you pet him? Do you hold him? No. Wally does not like to be held, he doesn't like to be touched, and we like to give him his space. So because he's not really the biggest fan of being held, we have not even been close to getting to that point with him just yet. Kim has what's called a target pole. So part of his training, and this is actually a training session for Wally right now, he figured out relatively quickly that if he touches his nose to that ball on the pole, he gets a piece of food. So this is pretty much how we get him to go from A to B. Say happy boots. Since we can't pick him up and carry him out here to meet you guys, he has learned that if he follows that pole, he walks with the pole. We actually have made a dog crate like for Cocker Spaniels, with like a bird perched through the top of it, and he'll go right into the crate. We'll carry him onto this little luggage rack we got off of Amazon. that kid made look nice and rainforest-ish. That is cool. And that's how we can bring him out so you guys can get a chance to meet him. I'm sure many of you noticed that he is not out at the moment for everybody to see permanently. We are in the process of planning a brand new rainforest exhibit top floor, so he has a more permanent home. Right now he has a room behind the scenes that's just like filled with lots of live trees and vines and a giant sloth stuffed animal that he sleeps with. And it's very humid in there, just like he likes. I'm sure you also probably noticed this like jungly looking open area here. We wanted that to be kind of a temporary exhibit for him, but since it's open like that, it's not enclosed, we just decided that it's better off as a temporary playground. So every once in a while he'll go in there and hang out in there, and then he has his little tourist friend in there also. Does anybody have any questions? I know I talk a whole lot. Anybody has questions?
How old do they live?
They can live to be 30 to 40 years old in captivity. I couldn't tell you exactly what their numbers are like in the wild, especially with the rate at which the rainforests are being destroyed. But Wally's about 2 years old, so we got plenty of time to work on this target training with him. One of the things I forgot to mention with the target training as well, it's completely optional for him. If he does not want to partake in it, he does not have to. We're not going to withhold food from him. We actually have like little hanging plant baskets that you get at Home Depot that hang around his bedroom, and he'll just feed himself if he doesn't want to partake in the training. Yes. Sorry. So they'll pretty much have one baby at a time, and baby will live on mom's belly for about 1.5 years or so, and then it'll venture off on its own. Yes.
Where did you find this one?
He came from a facility in another zoo from Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, he flew FedEx.
And he's 2.
He's 2. He's getting pretty big. So I don't know if he's gonna be. He's probably about like 10 pounds right now. I think the biggest one that I've seen of his species is like 20, 25, which is like, I don't want it. It's scary. They're like devil bears when they're that big. They're scary.
When he gets grumpy, you should see him.
I think that's his hair up a little bit. Yeah.
When he gets grumpy, he'll hang upside down and flail his arms and pluck out his fur. And you're like, okay. He might show us.
Do they ever walk on the ground?
I've seen pictures of sloths like crossing the street in the rainforest on their hands. It's like the most alien looking thing I've seen. Nothing about it looks right. They do. It's kind of like an army crawl.
Okay.
They do swim. Also, they're actually pretty good swimmers, and they'll swim upright, like our version of upright.
Okay.
Their upright is upside down. Yeah. But they can swim up. They can swim pretty good. They look like Michael Phelps when they swim. They're really long, lanky arms.
You were worried.
They typically don't make too much noise. When he's upset, he'll blow out of his face. He'll huff. Baby sloths will make like a ma sound. Like it literally sounds like they're saying ma. And that's pretty much it. They can actually. They do make a sound that only other sloths can hear, so we can't hear it, and it's how they find mates in the wild. Not yet, because of the rainforest being destroyed thing. We don't like taking care of our planet, so unfortunately, I mean, thankfully, you know, he's here. He's got a pretty great life with us. Also, if you take a look at his beautiful head of hair, I might say, got nice, got that ombre. We don't have to bathe him or anything really because he doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to really work. We don't have to bathe him. He doesn't have to worry about like molds and bugs and things too much here. In the rainforest where they live, they're actually. I hate to say it, but they're pretty disgusting.
Yeah, very disgusting.
Since they spend all their day, like 18 hours a day sleeping in the damp, it's so moldy in the rainforest, they'll actually grow algae and mold on their hair. And bugs will live in their hair and eat the algae and things in their hair. But it actually, believe it or not, the green algae and mold really help attribute to their camouflage when they're in the trees. So it's pretty beneficial for them to have that.
Does he like to cuddle?
No, absolutely not.
He doesn't like to cuddle?
No, he doesn't. We like to give him his space. One of the things that we're working on with him as well is we're just trying to get him used to just minor touching, not for our benefit, because oh, it's cute to pet a sloth, but for his benefit. We want to make it so that when the vet comes to visit, it's not going to be the most stressful event for him to do a physical exam. We want to make sure he's as comfortable and as little stress as possible.
Right now you're feeding him treats. The carrots, what does he eat normally, and does he eats it on his own, I assume, right? You're not hand feeding him all the time.
If we have some time, we do like to target train with him as much as possible. The carrots, I wouldn't technically call them a treat because it's not his favorite food. But his diet consists of a whole variety of different fruits and vegetables. He's not the biggest fruit fan, which is pretty okay with us because it's a lot of sugar. In the wild, and we've been working on it with him as well, they have a very large veggie diet, so mostly leaves and things they get off the trees like that. We've tried to give him as much leaves as we can, you know, like leafy green, like romaine, spinach, you know, things that are good for him that are leafy. We've even wrapped up a piece of zucchini with like a piece of spinach, and he will work out the spinach and spit out, work out the zucchini and spit out the spinach. So I mean, we try to give him his most natural diet as we can, but we want to make sure he's eating also. Yes, what's up, sweetie? He doesn't necessarily sit in the bathtub. Every once in a while we'll mist him, if he gets any yucky stuff on him, like food or anything, we'll mist him. But since he doesn't really let us hold him, we can't really, scrub him or anything. But he's not very dirty, so we don't have to worry about it. Look at, every morning he wakes up like that. Every morning. His hair beautiful like that. He wakes up like this every day. That was a very good question. One time, you want to hear a funny story? It's about poop, so I'm sorry in advance. So sloths really, in the wild especially, they will really only go to the bathroom once a week. That's the only time they'll ever leave their trees to go down to go to the bathroom, or to find a lady sloth if you're a boy sloth. But they'll go down the tree once a week, go to the bathroom. Wally poops a little more frequently than that, I think, because I think he eats a lot of good stuff, a lot of fibrous stuff, and he also is a little bit more active. One day, we walked into his little room, and he usually sleeps with his sloth stuffed animal and his little bucket, and we walked in, and his bucket was flipped upside down. There were stuffed animals everywhere. There was literally poop on the walls. It was like he sat in it And like,
My dude.
so in that kind of situation, we misted the living daylights out of him. Because we had like a little poop paintbrush on our butt. Sorry, we're animal keepers, we talk about poop a lot.
Do you trim his nails?
No, so another thing maybe could be something we could work on in the future, but in the wild they would keep their nails trimmed by grabbing onto the live trees and things, the bark and stuff would help file their nails down. So in his room, he does have real trees that Ocean County Parks actually donated to us. So, I mean, we haven't seen any issue with his nails get overgrowing or anything. I think pretty much it's like, it's on them to keep their nails filed as possible, as much as possible. And this, it's funny because this is all like clay, like special clay, but this is a real tree here. You can see parts of it breaking off little pieces over here.
He's pretty nimble.
Yeah, he likes it. And this is like what we like to call, since it's a training session for him as well, he doesn't have the greatest attention span. So with all the noise that happens in the room and stuff, to keep him focused and not be upset, the training that Kim was doing with him is really helpful because it keeps his focus directly on the training and not on the sound in the room.
He's trying to get on the ceiling.
He knows it's a drop ceiling. Does anybody have any other questions?
Does Wally have good eyesight?
No, he does not. That's a great question. So they're nocturnal, which means they are active mostly at night. And you can tell an animal is nocturnal by the way their pupils are. So at nighttime, his eyes are completely dilated so that his eyes are capable of capturing as much light as possible in the dark. But when the lights are on and he's awake during the day, his pupils completely shrink down to like pin size. So they're really, so that it's, you know, the light's not too overwhelming on their eyes. So he really, it's like little pin-sized pupils.